Alright, I did watch Fate. I really did. I don't want to do this review. Let's just get that out there. Here's why. As I previously said in, I think, Fate Episode 9 review, I said that if the show was going to be bad and I just didn't enjoy watching it, I just wasn't going to review it, because I didn't feel like ranting on it week after week. But it's a finale, and people wanted me to still keep doing these Stay Night reviews anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to my word. Since they said that they wanted to keep seeing it, I'll do it. So, my thoughts on Stay Night, this is completely my opinion. You don't have to take this as fact. I'm not making you take this as fact. I'm not shoving this opinion down your throat. I thought the episode was garbage. I really did. And let's start off at the beginning. I think at the beginning when they had that slice of life element for like 15 minutes, that wasn't really the issue. I didn't really have a problem with the slice of life element itself. It was more so the fact that it was 15 minutes of that slice of life element, and you have 45 minutes, essentially 45 minutes. So there goes a third of the show wasted on characterization that had already been established, and I don't understand what was the point of that. But I think, but to credit Ufotable with the slice of life, I gotta say that if they included that, that means that they were adapting this visual novel pretty fucking well. I mean, that was the entire slice of life thing was really visual novel-esque. It was obvious, and I think that made a lot of people that were a fan of the adaptation really fucking happy, or visual novel really happy. But the thing is that it's a Grail War. I don't understand why exactly we're in the middle of trying to get into a sense of romance or having to deal with this teenage drama, and I think that's the thing that if I had to compare Fate Stay Night to Fate Zero, I'd say Fate Zero does better. This is a war. There's no time for tea making and like fucking picnics and shit. It's a war, and I feel as if Stay Night doesn't have that sense of urgency that Fate Zero did. Even though you all know me, I don't really like Fate Zero. Stay Night doesn't have that sense of urgency that makes it feel right, like this is actually a Grail War. It feels like these are kids that happen to be in a war that no, not even a war. It feels like these are kids that happen to take place in epic battles at night, and that's what it really feels like half the time. It's like you have this regular slice of life show, and then when it comes to night, when everybody's asleep or when nobody can see them, they have all these magical powers, and that's what it really felt like to me, more than just a battle royale, a war. Now, don't quote me on the battle royale thing, because I know people have told me this is a war. It's not a battle royale. But yeah, you get you see where I'm coming from. Shiro, she is begging for your penis. She just wants it in her. Just put it in Ren. There were significant budget cuts, as I could tell this episode. You would think that with this being the season finale, they would probably use all of their budget. But I think that first scene, when Shiro had opened the cabinet and he had 3 coins, I think that's a decent representation of Ufotable's budget at this point. I think that they've used so much of their budget that they kind of didn't have a choice but to lower some of the quality. And that's something that I don't really see as too much of a problem for the entire series. It was a problem with this episode, but take in mind, this is probably one of the best looking series, or best animated series I've ever seen. So just take that in mind. When they're out of a budget, you have to consider how much of a budget they've already used, and it's an enormous budget, but I can't excuse it. I can't excuse the fact that the budget, just in quality, just went down. Like, here's an example. At 6:35, now note, I was watching this on Crunchyroll. At 6:35, there's extremely choppy background. At 9, oh, no, not 9:18. 23 minutes. There was one thing at 23 minutes. Mr. Reckless Penguin had a screenshot of it. I think I might have a screenshot of it. If I do, I'll put it up on screen. But yeah, there was like this serious drop in visual fidelity. And another thing that I had a problem with in terms of visual fidelity was the water. The water looked awful, and here's why. It was like taking how should I say this? It was like taking a shot of the beach, right? Of a real beach, like not an anime, a real life beach, and then throwing a 2D model on top of it. It looked so bad. That shouldn't have happened. The CGI itself, or the water itself, wasn't the issue. It was the fact that they put CGI water, photorealistic water, underneath a 2D car. A 2D drawn-out, hand-drawn car, and it just did not look good at all. Now, I was talking to some people on the Chibi community. The death flags that I was saying with Ren, I was just joking about it. Don't take that seriously. 918, I think there was this time when somebody had said, I think Shiro had said GG, a hashtag GG, motherfucker. I can't believe there was literally a sword called Rule Breaker. I didn't notice this until Mr. Reckless Penguin, Corey, had pointed it out to me. He was like, oh, did you just see what they said? I was like, wait, what? They're like, Rule Breaker. I was like, wait, what? He was like, that's the name of the sword. It is an incarnation of a Deus Ex Machina. What? And if that's not a problem, I really don't know what is. Because if you literally have a weapon that breaks the rules of the game and nullifies pretty much all magic, why the fuck is this fair? Caster should have already won the war if this is the case. She has 2 servants. Her master was able to fight. He can't anymore. But he could attack with the element of surprise, so they should have just... Or they had the chance of sort of winning it last time, but Saber would have probably have destroyed them, so... But yeah, just a sword called Rule Breaker. That is just hard to imagine. What else? There was this one scene, I think, when Shiro had used... I was like, why can't he just use his projection magic? And then I remembered Archer said that it would take 3 days for him to heal. So is there no way that he can just use his projection magic, but it would just be in a lot more pain? That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking logically that just like... They didn't say that he was incapable of using his circuits. They're active now. It would just take his body a couple of days to get used to it. But I thought that he would still be able to use it just at the cost of a lot of pain. Speaking of pain, you guys remember when Shiro just got kind of stabbed, and then he just kind of walked off? Like, what the fuck? See, here's the problem. Since Shiro heals like the fucking immortal in Bakudo, there is like no sense of danger when he gets stabbed. Like, when Saber stabbed him, I was just kind of like, alright, doesn't matter, he's gonna heal. There's no sense of danger because he has quote-unquote Avalon in him. I have no clue what Avalon is. Did they explain it in the show? Because if they did, that's me just missing out on something. Just leave it in the comments below if they did explain it. But yeah, he has Avalon, so there's no sense of danger whenever anything happens to him whatsoever. And it's just... that's what ruins it. That, like I said, there's that sense, there's that loss from Fate Zero of a sense of urgency and danger, and that this is a war. It just doesn't feel like a war anymore. It doesn't have that sense of danger or that sense that anybody can die at any moment, and that, in my opinion, since this is a war, hurts the show. But I have another question. So Shiro's not in the war anymore. Let's get that straight. And since he no longer has his command tools or his servants, he's virtually irrelevant. So I have to ask, why is he not necessarily why is he the main character still, but why wasn't he taken to a hospital to be put in less danger and to heal faster? I mean, even Archer literally says it. He fucking says it. He understands. There's not really any point to keeping him with Ren. He would fare better if they took him to a hospital, because it's not like he wasn't wounded by like a magical element. He was wounded by a sword. So it's an object that he was wounded by. Taking him to the doctor should have been no problem, or taking him to the hospital shouldn't have been a problem. You take him to the hospital, this nullifies everything. He would have probably have been better within the next couple of days or two. He wouldn't have been completely healed, but he would have been able to at least fucking move. He'd be safer too, probably at the hospital, because he's not in the war. There's no need for no need for anybody to look at him anymore. There's no need for it. But of course, Shiro is obviously going to come back in the arc, or come back in the second season, because clearly Archer is Shiro, because of all the fucking foreshadowing, quote unquote. It's not foreshadowing, like I said. I'm gonna stick by the blatantly telling you what it is. I also have a question. This doesn't relate to really too much to Fate Stay Night. It's something that I thought about in Fate Zero. So, if Caster found out that you didn't need to kill everybody to obtain the Grail War, you just needed their power equivalent, why didn't Kirei, Gilgamesh, Kuritsugu, or anyone fucking else in Fate Zero, who is a ton, or times smarter than anybody, for the most part, in Fate Stay Night, realize this? That's not a problem with Stay Night. That was a question with Fate Zero. I understand that Fate Zero is a prequel, so, I mean, it's a lack of knowledge at that point, but it's just taking a guess. I mean, just like, you have Kirei, Kuritsugu, Waver, Kaneth, Gilgamesh. All these people are pretty fucking smart, so it just boggles me. And, what's his name? Fuck. It's, Rin's father. Tokiomi. So why did any of them realize that you could just do this? You didn't have to kill anybody. You didn't have to kill everybody, at least. That just boggles me, because all of those characters are smarter than the one that are in Fate's Stay Night. Oh, I got a problem with Kirei, and I've said this since episode 4. Kirei's managing the war. This confuses me, because in Fate Zero, the guys at the cathedral were able to see what was going on at certain parts in the war. So I'm confused. Why can't Kirei figure out what's going on at certain parts in the war? You had one fucking job, Kirei. One fucking job. Manage and keep track of the war. That was all you had to do. And you fucked it up. Legitimately, if he just fucking managed the war and disqualified these fuckers earlier, this wouldn't have been an issue. Lancer, I thought that we were actually gonna see him, and it was a nice cock tease that, you know, they just showed him there. I was like, yes, thank God, we're finally gonna see him. I was like, it's been since episode 1, and we don't know anything about Lancer whatsoever. And then Ilya, Berserk show up, and, they're just fucking useless. They just kind of show up just to show up. How the fuck did Shiro know where Rin was? If he saw her, we should have seen a clip of him seeing her. Did he just guess? Did he just, like, know? No, I think it was the power of Deus Ex Machina, because there's no way he should have known where Rin was. And I don't really think that the entire scene itself was an issue, but it's just that one thing that just throws off the immersion, where it's just kind of like, Shiro just knows where Rin is. Could he sense her? Is that what it was? I don't know. Maybe he sensed her power level that was over 9,000. Hopefully, we get a better main character in part 2, or at least Shiro gets more fucking character, because people, you know, there are a lot of people in anime that suffer from PTSD. You know? But that doesn't make them unique. It doesn't make them interesting to watch. Example. Kuritsugu for, Fate Zero. He suffered from PTSD. He suffered from having to kill so many people. But outside of those times when he had to kill those people, what was he? He was a very dull character. And that's what I feel like with Shiro. Outside of the PTSD, what do you get from Shiro? You get a very dull character. He's the same thing as, what's his name? Kirito. He's the same damn thing as Kirito. Where outside of that PTSD, there is nothing interesting about this main character whatsoever. And that's the sad thing, because if Stay Night was still written the way it was, but with more interesting characters, it would have at least have probably been a 5 or 6, but because it can't even immerse the audience, that it can't even be that. And there you go. But at the end, at least this is probably the highlight of the episode. At the end, when that Lisa song came up, I think it was the opening of the original Stay Night, and sung by Lisa. But when that came up, fucking bravo. Even though the rest was pretty fucking terrible. Yes, I'm expecting a lot of hate. But this is not meant to insult your opinion. If you liked this episode, that's good for you, but I thought it was garbage. Overall, I gave the first season a 4. Now, understand me, my 4 does not mean bad. Do not go by my anime list ratings. My 4 just means extremely flawed. Just get that into your head. My low 4 is bad. My 3 is an atrocity. So, my high 4 is the equivalent to a lot of people's 6. But my high 4 is just flawed. It's not saying that the show is terrible. It's not saying the show is bad. It's saying that there is a lot of stuff that needs to be improved. And from what I heard second season was going to improve so much. I heard Heaven's Feel was going to be so good. I also hear that I've also seen a lot of people defending Fate based on the light novel or the visual novel. I keep getting that mixed up. But you can't defend the adaptation on the source material, based on the source material. Did it do a good job as an adaptation? I think Fate Stay Night did do a good job as an adaptation from what I've seen. I gave it like a 7 out of 10 as an adaptation. But as a show, in general, it's extremely flawed. And that's how I feel about Stay Night. But yeah, when second season comes, I'll be watching it. You guys asked for me to keep reviewing Stay Night as much as I didn't really want to fucking do this. But I did it. So, anyways, sorry that this has been such a fucking long video, but I had so many fucking notes to go over. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment. Of course, you guys didn't fucking enjoy. I am literally expecting the dislike bar to be like a fucking red lightsaber. I'm just expecting it at this point. Not that I really want that, but that's what's gonna happen. But anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Deuces.